Hi, Faith Church. Well, it's another week of lockdown and self quarantining. It's another opportunity that we have to maybe stay connected together through video. One of the New Testament stories that has always intrigued me, even when I was a child, was the story of Paul and Silas, who were thrown into a Philippian jail for preaching the gospel. Acts chapter 16 records for us the story and tells us how, with backs bloodied and with feet in stocks, around midnight, they began singing songs of praise to God. They prayed aloud and they openly witnessed concerning their faith to fellow inmates. And then around midnight, suddenly an earthquake struck, an angel appeared, and they were released from their captivity. And the story ends with the Philippian jailer becoming a believer, and he and his entire family were baptized. It's just a wonderful story. But one of the things that intrigues me most about that story is that Paul and Silas somehow found a way to be witnesses for Jesus, even in the most difficult of circumstances. They didn't allow self-pity to sort of settle into their bones, but instead they continued to be gospel lights even into the dark corners of that prison they found themselves in. Now, currently we find ourselves in lockdown mode. Because of this pandemic, our movements have been severely limited, our freedoms restricted, and we feel cut off from our community, not unlike Paul and Silas. But instead of allowing self-pity to sort of sink into our bones, like Paul and Silas, we ought to be creative and finding creative ways in which we can be gospel lights, even when we feel bound and shackled. Now, one of the ways that we can do this is simply by being neighborly. That is, being kind, generous, and gracious to those around us, especially those in need. Now, when Jesus was asked, "And who is my neighbor?" he responded by telling the parable of the Good Samaritan. And he told that parable to explain that citizens of his kingdom would conduct themselves in a way different than the rest of the world. He showed how citizens of his kingdom would conduct themselves in an otherwise very self-absorbed, competitive, dog-eat-dog world like ours today. It was Fred Rogers who once said, "When I was a boy and I would see scary things on the news, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers in the story. You will always find people who are helping others.'" And that's true. Right? In this age of COVID-19, have seen people step up in some amazing ways to help others out. And as believers, people of faith, we ought to be on the forefront of that. At the very least, that means that we can be neighborly. But what does it mean to be neighborly when social distancing is the new norm? Maybe you've been wrestling with that. I know I have. Recently, I came across a great resource that has a number of great ideas concerning how we can connect with our immediate neighbors, those in our neighborhood. Outreach Inc. is a ministry that's been around for several decades, and it's a ministry that's been equipping Christians and Christian churches to more effectively reach out in the name of Jesus. Now, all you have to do is click on their website. It's very simple. It's just outreach.com, www.outreach.com, and then click on the link that says Neighbors Helping Neighbors. And you'll get some great resources and some great ideas. In fact, one of the ones that a special they're running right now is door hangers, pre-printed door hangers that you can put your name on and contact information, and let those in your neighborhood know that you are there to assist or to pray for them any way you can. You can purchase 12 of those door hangers for only $2.50, and that includes free shipping. And that will enable you to safely contact those in your neighborhood to offer services or support of any kind. It's just one simple idea. My wife Gloria and I were talking about this the last few weeks. And so over the Easter holiday weekend, Gloria made some carrot bread and some cookies. And we set those on the front porch of some of our neighbors. We placed them in colorful gift bags and placed a little note inside the bag. And then we just dropped them off and we played ding dong ditch it, right? Hit the doorbell and ran. No, not really. Actually, we did hit the doorbell and then again, reintroduced ourselves since we're fairly new to the neighborhood, and then left the gift in maintaining our safe 6-foot distance. It's just one simple and safe way of being neighborly. It was Mark Twain who said, kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Kindness is really the language of God's kingdom. So let's continue to find creative ways of speaking that language fluently. God bless.